Watched the Vikings game from a local bar that ended up being like 2 Americans own it, and like all the locals were walking their boats coming in and
Nice.
and it was great food. We needed American food for
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, it was really good.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, it really is our favorite.
Really?
But yeah, every 4 or 5 years we go there. We kind of try to rotate somewhere tropical, but it seems to have the most.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's.
That didn't go away.
I'd like to call to order this planning and zoning meeting on, sorry, I'm out of it, November 26th, 2024. Tara, roll call, please.
Courtney Marmon. Sarah Ritchie. Here. Al Ferris.
Here.
Carrie Werdeman. Here. Misty Darling. Lynn Stecker.
Here.
Jake Weiss. Justin Nate.
Here.
Rich Piper.
Okay, the first agenda item is approval of the November 26th, 2024 agenda.
So moved. Move approval.
Second. Oh, sorry. And then, let's see, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. The next agenda item is approval of the November 12th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'll move to approve the November 12th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Those may be the longest minutes we've ever.
Those were very long minutes. Sounded like a very productive agenda. Meeting.
She had prepared them originally, and then she was asked to provide the minutes to our city attorney for review because of the type of applications that they were. So we had to adjust them slightly into from 1 page to about 7.
They were well done. Okay, and then the next item would be any public comment to something that's not on tonight's agenda. So if there's any new agenda items that someone from the public wanted to bring forward. Not seeing any, okay. And then we'll go ahead and start with our new business, and item 6A is the approval of a plat of survey for 1313, 1307, and 1305 South L Court.
Thank you. The applicant in this case is Michael and Marjorie Leeper, and they're represented by Kevin Crawford with Crawford and Associates. And the applicant is requesting approval of a plat of survey to adjust several lot lines. Basically, I got a new tool now I can play with. That south lot line will go on the other side of the driveway, and then the lot will adjust slightly between the northern 2 lots. So that's the gist of it. I can use that. All lots are already zoned R1. Lot A, which includes the primary residence. This was the drop from the surveyor, and here's the final product. Lot A, which is where the applicant currently resides. That lot is currently 42,000 square feet. And the new lot, once it's adjusted, will be about 52,000 square feet. Lot B is currently 15,500 square feet, and that'll be reduced to about 10,000 square feet. And then the northernmost lot will be reduced to about 10,000 square feet as well. The purpose of this is so that the applicant can sell that northernmost lot so that someone else can build a house on it. No new streets or anything or trails will be included as a part of this. A 5-foot sidewalk will be required when that home is constructed. No new utilities will be installed except to extend the service to the new lot when that house is developed. The plat of survey is in general conformance with all of our ordinances. Staff does recommend approval of this plat of survey. Happy to take any questions. Also, the applicant is in attendance tonight.
Any comments from anyone, the public on this one?
I was told earlier this year that the estate had not been closed properly in that area, that there had been a death and that all the necessary things had not been cleaned up. That's right across the street from us.
No,
Oh.
not there yet.
Oh, we're not.
No worries. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second? Roll call vote, please, Tara?
Yeah.
Ritchie.
Yes.
Ferris.
Yes.
Werdeman.
Yes.
Stecker.
Yes.
Nate.
The next agenda item tonight is the approval of a preliminary plat for Pickard Commerce Park Plat 1.
Thank you. The applicant and owner in this case is iTown Investment Group LLC, represented by Jason Ledden with Snyder and Associates. The applicant is requesting approval of a preliminary plat for a part industrial, part commercial development located south of Highway 92 and east of South 15th Street. Contains just under 20 acres in area. The property was currently was recently rezoned from all C2 to C2 and then M2 as well. The plat identifies 8 lots. The front 4 here will be are commercially zoned, and then the back 4 are industrially zoned. Lots range in size from 1.05 acres to 3.5 acres in area. Street lots A and B will be deeded to the city for the public right of way for streets. Stormwater detention will occur in the stormwater basin here at the south end of the property. All lots meet or exceed their respective zoning districts. There were some issues with IDOT with the access. So the access, instead of being up here previously, as it was shown back in March, they've agreed to let us have an access there to the south. So that's why there's more a second street and more concrete, more impervious area there. So we have that signed permit to allow that access now. 5-foot sidewalks will be constructed with each lot as they're developed. No trails are proposed. The pedestrian crossings will be installed with the plat improvements. Public utilities will service all these lots, and stormwater detention will be privately maintained there in the rear. They're showing some landscape buffers between some of the property districts or some of the zoning districts. So everything is in conformance that way. So they're showing all the easements on the plat: PUEs, ingress, egress, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, snow storage easements. No real concerns with any of that stuff. There's the grading plan for that. So the preliminary plat is in conformance with our subdivision ordinance and our zoning ordinance and the comprehensive plan. Staff does recommend approval of this preliminary plat for Pickard Commerce Park Plat 1. Subject to the few remaining comments we have left. Happy to take any questions. Also, the engineer and the applicant are in attendance tonight.
I do have a question.
Sure.
With the change in the access to the development, where will access to lots 1 and 8 come from?
I can do that.
Good question.
Good evening, Jason Lemon with Snyder Associates here on behalf of the applicant. So access for lot 8 will be off the public street. There to what's down on the page, so that'll be to the west. Lots 1 and 2 have an ingress egress easement that comes off the north end of the cul-de-sac bulb.
Okay.
It's just not a public street due to wanting to deed that over to the city. There'll be a private access that's maintained on lots 1 and 2 with pavement there.
Okay, like off of what kind of looks like almost a hammerhead.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the landscaping buffers.
Okay.
How come just those 2 locations and not anything along the park boundary?
So they do show an easement for landscape buffer easement up at the top. So those will be installed with as each lot develops. There'll be landscaping that'll separate that.
Okay,
And there's some existing plant material there today that's intended to stay as well.
And kind of further that, there previously was a landscape buffer easement shown here, but our zoning ordinance states that when different zoning districts are separated by a public right of way, that can be removed.
Yeah.
So there used to be one, but there's not anymore because of that part of the ordinance. So.
What do we have for intentions right now for the proposed?
It's all speculative. Once we start getting site plan projects, we'll bring those to you folks for your review and considerations.
Any other questions from the commission? at this time we can open it up for public comment. If you have comments, please join us at the podium and share your name and address.
I just go up to the screen here.
Sure.
Okay. Blair Lawson. I think. I'm just trying to see where the pavement goes. I can see it goes here and here. Does it stop right there? Or come further down?
Yes, you're correct. The intent today is that it stops there. In the future, there'll be a driveway that gets to lot 1, but it will not go all the way out to the highway. So there'll only be the access that lines up with the public street today.
It's hard to see those numbers.
Any other comments from the public?
Just
Hold on, Blair. Hi, my name's Wayne Gomer. My father and I own the property right across the highway from this plat at 2102 East Second. Currently it's zoned residential that is undeveloped for future use. My main question is how is this going to affect future, school, children's travel to and from middle school, high school out to Pickard Park, and also with the increased vehicle traffic to and from, being that this is commercial and industrial, that kind of paints a picture of larger vehicles that, may have different specs of safety for, travel and things like that around the school areas.
very close proximity to the high school. Makes me think, and I was born here. My name's Bob Gomer. I was born here in Indianola. I left 50 years ago, joined the military, and then retired from that and came back. Ended up working for the government again. My viewpoint is this. Why would you put industrial complexes in town if you don't have to? Right next to the baseball diamonds. It's going to end up being just like the old ball diamonds out here. You still have a problem with the car racing in the evenings at the fairgrounds. A lot of people in town don't like that noise. What kind of noise is this going to generate? Wouldn't it be better to have houses in that area? Might be a better tax base in the long run. Plus, it's so close to the high school and the junior high, it'd be a perfect place for families to have a home. And then the kids can walk to school and ride their bikes. Just an idea.
Thank you. So clarify the status, will you please, for these folks, that it's already been rezoned?
The comprehensive plan identifies this area as industrial and commercial. That was done prior to me getting here, but it's something that the community worked with consultants on to identify this area as commercial and industrial. It's on it's on one end of town. It's not kind of in the center of town.
And it's commercial on the front end.
Correct.
Along Route 92, 2nd Avenue, it's industrial in the back where it's screened.
What is it? Let's clarify. 1, 2, 7, and 8 are commercial. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then 3, 4, 5, and 6 are industrial?
Correct.
Is that the way it is?
Yes, these 4 in the front are commercially zoned, and then these 4 in the back are the industrially zoned ones.
If I recall, when the proposed rezoning came to us back in March, this kind of idea came up, and I think I really, hopefully some of you all remember. If I remember correctly, a lot of the discussion that we had at that point centered around the size of the lots and the way the current zoning is written. And so the industrial lots being like between 1.5 and 3.5 acres. What we discussed, if I remember right at that point, was that that's not going to allow for anything that's very large to be put on that. So likely not extremely heavy traffic. And I remember some point of discussion about a nuance with the code that in order for it to be some sort of was it like a business with storage included, it had to be industrial. And so that was what was kind of conceptualized. Am I remembering that right? Okay.
Yes, and some of those uses were things like yard material, things that were outside that people might go get, mulch or rocks or all that type of thing. And not like your heavy industrial uses. So as that came to the city council actually had a discussion with the developer at that time. And certain industrial uses, heavy uses were stricken.
That's what I was gonna just
Okay.
say. We made contingencies on Cody Sinclair with I-Town. We did make contingencies with what they were not wanting in there, basically. And so just to align with what our projections are, that's
Yeah, high impact industrial
exactly.
items were
We
stricken.
took all those out, so.
So hopefully that provides,
So my understanding then, you have in the front commercial to keep it pretty, and then the industrial behind there to,
Sure, I mean, we hope the industrial's not as pretty as well, I mean, we're not trying to, again, the contingency we made there for the zoning purposes, we.
right, and so these are all again speculative.
Exactly.
So we have no idea what's going in. We're just kind of trying to shape the boundaries of trying to get what we want in there to keep out things that we don't want in
And as
there.
Ben said, it is on Highway 92. They do like commercial on the front there. We did align to that. We do own the property to the west of there as well. That is, we're in the process of doing everything. We are having residential there. Again, some commercial on the front highway that they like to see and want to keep, but we do have residential there. And I don't know how many houses, but it's a lot, so.
So you're gonna have houses just to the west of the industrial park?
Yeah.
I wouldn't wanna move in there.
Clientele, so.
Well, I live in town, so I am your clientele. I mean, you want people to live in town, right?
Yeah, but.
So that is your
No, but that
clientele.
doesn't- But you just said you didn't like that option, so it's,
Right.
you're not really who we're looking for. So, anyway, we did have all this before. We did talk, we made the contingencies on the industrial as well, so.
Could you clarify, and I saw this as zone M2 rather than M1. And so what is allowed? Just to clarify for people, what would be allowed in M2?
Well, we'd have to,
Tyson's.
many things from the M2 were stricken as well. So it's a
Pared down
it's a pared down M2 that the city council through negotiation with the developer.
for this property only.
Did strike many of the high impact industrial. It's more of a light industrial, more of a business. You might be operating your business and you have some storage outside, those smaller type uses that are kind of down, and it's my understanding that topography drops down the back, so they're kind of down and tucked in behind
Exactly.
landscaping.
One of them that is projected to go out there is a landscaping company. The other one would be storage units as well. So again, that's projections. It's all speculative. We don't know, but
those are the types of businesses
that's something that would
be
go there,
allowed
and
to
that's
go
why it aligned with that. And we had no problem removing, because again, if we're developing the commercial, we're developing residential. We don't want this to be a deterrent for anybody as well. So, I mean, we're looking at it that way as well, so.
Just for full transparency, do we have a list of the M2 businesses with the stricken to remove those so we can all see that?
It would be in city council notes from that meeting.
So you guys have that with your computers?
Might be able to pull it up. Do you?
You
any
can research
recollection
that
of-
offline if you'd like. That is available to you. It's been on the website for quite some time. And all the minutes are out there, and this all has been rezoned. It's been asked and answered last. go
So it's done and over, so this is more of a nicety.
This is not a nicety. This is a preliminary plat. The rezoning was done before. This is now the layout of the property and how the lines would, so it's two different actions.
Yeah, the same notifications that were sent out for the preliminary plat, they were sent out for the rezoning as well too, so. This is something that's been.
Yeah, one of the meetings here recently was what, rescheduled to tonight, right? I believe that's when this meeting rescheduled originally.
Blair, do you guys have any other question? I'd be more than happy to answer. I know you guys are across the street and I live in the area as well, so be more than happy to answer anything you guys might have. And to my knowledge, I think the property was taken care of, yeah, when it was purchased, so. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I have a question. As far as traffic goes on 92, is 92 being altered whatsoever? Is there a dedicated turning lane or anything like that?
We do. So what held this project up for quite a long time was the fact that between the application process and when rezoning was coming through, Iowa DOT came in and requested that the city, the entire 65, 69, and 92 corridors have an alignment and connectivity study where it would minimize and limit the number of connections. And so that study has been entertained and is going forward, and we're working with Iowa DOT. This was in process at the time, and so between Iowa DOT and the city of Indianola, we negotiated. And what they requested was that the alignment of the road be moved so that it lines up with 20th? 20th.
Yeah.
So that the intersection is perpendicular with 20th, and that's why the whole reconfiguration of the lots. That was done under a memorandum of understanding that would be added to the study going forward.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what types of uses were stricken from the industrial zoning, but my concern would just be the types of traffic, if it's heavy and large equipment, just not creating any type of bottleneck or dangerous type of activity, I guess, as far as driving patterns and habits go.
And I think that's why they wanted the alignment in the event that ever needs a signal light in the future, it's all ready and lined up, ready to go.
There have been many accidents there, many.
I have a question, clarification. At the present time, there's a strip of land on the north side of this property, and there's a sidewalk on that. Who owns that strip of land where the sidewalk is? Is that DOT or is that City of Indianola? Because there's a sidewalk all the way out there.
That's on the south side.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sidewalk goes
that's
from
in
the middle
front of-
school
it's in-
all the way to Pickard. It's on the south
Yeah,
side.
it's between this property and the highway. And that's not gonna be impacted, is it? Is that their property or is that somebody else's property?
Like it's labeled as right of trail.
Yeah, that's the trail.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know who owns that.
The strip between the highway and this,
And this property.
So the trail itself is on this property, and it's my understanding will be maintained. And the in between Second Avenue and the sidewalk or trail is the property line between Iowa DOT and this property owner. So about halfway through that park strip.
So is there an easement to the city to maintain that connection out to Pickard Park? Or could they what I'm asking is, could they take that sidewalk out?
or the part of our trail because it's McVeigh Trail.
Yeah.
The trail's within the public right away.
Wait a minute, I'm getting two
Well,
different
it's-
answers.
It's not according to this, but this could be off. This is a beacon.
As part of this plat, Bill, if you want to pull that plat map up.
Cause that sidewalk, that trail gets a lot of use. Bicycle use, walking use.
Not on it.
Oh, there it is. Joggers or
Yeah.
track teams use the
This,
trail.
this
Yeah.
big black line here will be the commercial properties. That'll be their property line. And then this is right away. That trail will be within that right away.
And
Within the states right away? Who owns the land?
the state of Iowa owns the land, but I guess the reason I may be off in this is because I'm looking at beacon and beacon lines are not always.
Oh, yeah.
This is
All I
correct.
want is to make sure that someday they decide, well, we're gonna take that sidewalk out because we don't like it or we want to use the land or something.
It's similar to the sidewalk on Highway 69.
Excuse me?
Similar to the sidewalk in town along other DOT highways on Highway 69. That sidewalk's in the DOT right away, but is maintained.
They're not gonna take it out.
Yeah,
It's
we
Iowa
have
DOT,
no
unless they're
ability-
widening the road for some reason, or they do acquire a different right of way. I mean, Iowa DOT doesn't typically remove those.
So that's who would. remove it.
Commonly, there are stakes that delineate ownership boundary. Are there any stakes? Are there anything along there to show the boundary between this property and the property the sidewalk is on?
This right here is a plat, and on the plat, it's been surveyed. And so this is the more accurate of the two things that you should look at. And if you want to zoom in on this side.
Yeah, but I can't read that. I mean, it's too little.
There's an iron pin that will be set in the ground, sorry, firm. Here and on the other side, and here, where that property line actually is a little jog. Here, and here, there's iron that is set in the ground, hammered in the ground by the surveyor for that.
When the projector is not in use, please remember to remove the USB dongle.
Right here, Elders. Here's the
Okay.
big black line that
Yeah.
delineates the.
And I assume,
It's labeled concrete
Okay.
trail right outside that.
thank you.
So that will delineate. the
Just
properties.
want to be reassured.
Yep.
That's good.
I have a question. All this property down here that's gonna be residential. Is this road here gonna come down into that neighborhood?
Yes, Blair.
Correct.
There'll be another road further to the west though.
Okay, so traffic for those residences could come into this intersection and go down into it to get to their homes.
Going toward 19th Street before there, yeah.
So there could be a lot of traffic turning when they're going east, that 20th and 92 intersection.
This plot or for a future plot? Which
In the
is,
future, when the homes are built, yeah,
yeah.
there'll be traffic turning north and south at
We're still
that
waiting for
intersection.
Any other questions from the commission? Would anyone like to make a motion?
Motion.
Roll call, vote, Sarah? Yes.
Yes.
Decker?
Yes.
Waterman? Yes. Ferris?
Yeah, I voted against it before, but that shooting is over on that. So yes, I'll vote yes.
Okay, with that, we have item number 7, which is just a list of current projects.
It's definitely slowing down. Not a whole lot going on, just more housekeeping things within the department. Christmas Eve meeting has been canceled. I don't have anything yet for the 10th, so hopefully it stays that way because I've got a flight to catch.
I won't be here either, so we'll do this.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. If it looks like something, we've had it in the past where we've had to make quorum, so if something comes up, maybe poll us.
It won't,
So you're saying the 10th is probably not going to be a meeting?
the way it's looking now, I won't have anything to bring.
Okay,
Just ask for RSVPs, make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good.
So if we don't see you guys, have a
But for
happy
sure not the
December.
24th.
So that would mean we'd next re-adjourn in January is what Bill's sharing, because the next one would have been Christmas Eve.
I'm busy.
Christmas Eve.
Okay, so maybe in January, eh?
Yeah, you throwing your name in for the chairperson?
No,
On Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Perfect.
Pretty lonesome.
Would anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.